Good morning, welcome to yet another programming stream on Tabletop. It's been a hot minute, but we're back, and I'm excited to dive back into things. It's been a little bit, been caught up with a little bit of craziness. I'm trying to get back on my weekly schedule of doing this every Sunday at 9 a.m. CST, which is about what time it is now. It's 9:15, but that's sort of the plan for right now. Camera. That's the plan for right now, just to try and get back on a weekly stream schedule with it. We'll see how well that works out, but I'm hopeful that I think we can do that. So I've worked on some tabletop stuff a little bit outside of the stream. I think the last time I streamed, I think I worked on some stuff. Pretty sure. So basically the main change that's happening right now is that we have an actual navigation. There's an actual navigation. So I'm using React Navigation's create bottom tab navigator. So we're using that to go ahead and make this. That's the, I forget the actual, I don't remember if it's called a tab navigator or what it is, something like that. So that's what we have there. So it actually works now somewhat. So we've got here, like our stuff, and again, like everything's still divided. I haven't really done a lot with search yet. Check-in has its own thing now, regardless of the game search. This is going to be like activity notifications, which is not at all implemented, and it's going to be profile stuff. So that's all fine and dandy. I got a lot of that cleaned up, and again, I don't think I worked on this on stream, but it wasn't super exciting. I just was reading through a lot of docs and stuff. So yeah, what we can do now is our base user profile is the next thing that's up. So I don't have this designed, but I think today seems like a good day to just try and mess around with it and try and get it, at least the data on there, and then we can worry about it looking decent. I don't think I've done any mock-ups of this, but now I'm like interested to check. I do have Figma open. Oh, I'm back to using my old programming layout that like has the chat on the right side, but as a result, the windows have to be slightly adjusted to fit inside the border. So my production value seems a little worse right now. It's because it is. Cool. So like I said, I don't think I did anything for this. I call this check-in flow. Oh, it is a check-in flow. Okay, never mind. Something I like recent. Oh. Yeah. Okay. So the answer is no. I don't have any mockups for it. But that's totally fine. Like I said, I think there's a lot we can do with just getting the basic information up. So this is base user profile just showing the info. This is not allowing you to edit it yet. Not quite, at least. So the display of the profile, the info, and then a feed of their check-ins. So the display part is going to go like up here, I think. I have a vague idea of how I want this to look. So yeah, we're just going to start implementing that, I think. We're going to have to make it smaller on the top. And you'll have to excuse me too if I make some typing mistakes. I'm coming back from doing, I've been using Windows a lot, and I'm using my same keyboard but on Mac, and I haven't been using Mac a lot recently, so I'm still trying to readjust everything. So. Alrighty. Just a second, I think we're good to dive in. Ooh. I got some bad bug bites this weekend, and they're awful. Getting the terrible idea of slightly itching them, so I need to not do that though. Okay. All right, so back to the matter at hand. So I have So I've got the profile wrapper and the actual profile component. So the actual profile component is just showing user.username right now. I think I started work on this. Okay, so let me look and see where we're at here. So let's look at the profile wrapper, which is empty, question mark? Huh, that seems kind of weird. Oh geez, what did I, what did I do here? Okay, so it returns the profile with, so the profile wrapper is also gonna need to have, so how I'm doing this is you're gonna have your user ID that, you're gonna pass in a user ID. I think ID is what I want. Let's go ahead and not type these props yet. Well, actually, I can type the props. It's so easy. I also have not been using Vim mode recently either, so this is a whole lot of adjustments that things I just haven't been using lately. Okay, so the profile is going to take user ID. Oh, so it actually takes a user object, which makes sense, yeah, because we're just displaying it based on that. So actually, let's go ahead and sort of make these not real right now. We can go ahead and make this a test user. Oh, that's not what I want. Just for now, we'll have to do a GraphQL query, which I think is why I made the wrapper. At least that's what makes sense to me. So our test user, we can go ahead and just get from, I think we have that on the server. Here's the sample data, yeah. Yeah, so test user is there, and then profile can return user test user. Great. So I'm not using this profile wrapper anywhere, it seems like. Oh my god, sorry. Truly, all my keybinds are different. That's really weird. Okay, so yeah, we don't have that. So where's that getting used? It's probably in screens. That's just what we're using to designate all of the navigations. So the profile screen here. Component is profile. I'm using like a default one. Should be a profile wrapper. That's not. Oh, okay. I need to export this. And this can go here. Great. All right, cool. So now I have my name on there, which is something, yeah. So we can also do image, right? React Native source is URI. Probably needs to not work. In the general case where people don't have. Oh, I have to do. I always forget about this, but you have to do height and width here. Otherwise, it will show nothing. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So we have a picture, and then we have our username, and then we can go ahead and just display. Oh, I don't know what legacy extension that is, but that's fine. So user dot what is it? Command space? No, not command space. Control space. We can have our bio here as well. And this is obviously not styled, but we can change that. Yeah, so the other thing I'm going to show probably is the amount of P followers they have. Which you're going to have to do a calculation there in the back end. Which I assume when we actually implement a database, that'll just be a one password. That'll probably just be like a relational database in our table. But since I don't have an actual database implemented, it doesn't matter as much right now. So I can just make. I'll just make a. We can just make a basically like a sample array or something. I'll hold it. So const followage is what we'll call it. And so this is going to be a how do I want to do this? Again, this stuff doesn't matter too much because again we'll have an actual database implementation for this. So followage should be person on the left is following person on the right. So it's going to be, I'll just make an array of, say, my user is following user 2. And then, yeah, we can just have sort of that be the format for now. Again, this is going to be done in like a pretty normal many-to-many relationship table, or yeah, it should be many-to-many. What's important here is that I want basically to show that everyone else is following me, just so I have the display on here. Okay. Snag can also be following. Great. So there's the followage there. So we're gonna need to create a So how are we gonna do that? So this is like when we need to respond with data from a user. So I guess we just make a followers. Should be an array of users. Okay, so I think that's fine. So then in query, this is search users, which is not what we want. We just want a single, like a single user. So I haven't implemented this query yet. Let's also do this now while we're back here. Okay, so our resolver, so we have a single user. Because I guess we want to, do we want to search on ID? Is that what we're doing here? Okay, so the search users do what we want here. I mean, basically, right? Because it just takes the name of it's a username though. I probably want this to be on ID, I think. let's try that at least. Maybe that's completely redundant and... Well, here, actually, why don't I even not make the user resolver right now? Yeah, so yeah, this seems like overkill because if we have something that basically does this for us, it's on username, not ID. I think that's fine. Oh, no, this covers for multiple users. I actually don't want this. Never mind. Okay, we do need to make a new one. Okay. So let me just have it return the first user for right now. Which is obviously not right, but... users, right? And then up in the query, we can go ahead and put user, which returns a single user. Oh, sorry, I wrote a really long thing on that. Okay, so now whenever we're getting the user, we also need to calculate the followage, essentially. So, like, this function actually is going to need to be more specific. I don't know if specific is the right word, but... okay, so this is also going to have a query. So again, we'll probably just do it by ID, since we have to make a new one anyways. So args is going to be... user ID is going to be the name of the arg, which is going to be a string. And then let me put that needs to be in here. Cool. Yeah, so now the user ID available is a string. So now we need to get so the user should be users dot find. Find calls predicate once for each element of the array. Okay, I have a user, and then I need to... Oh, I can just actually omit the curly braces and not have to write it. Return statements, this should just be user.id equals user ID. Okay, why is that yelling at me? Cannot find name user ID? It's right there. Do you mean user? No, I meant user ID. Oh, do I have to do... Oh, it's args. Okay. It's just I'm defining the type of the args right there. Okay. That was confusing, but that makes sense. Okay, so we get the user, which has most of the data. Then we need to compute followage. So let's go ahead and make a separate function for this because it is gonna kind of be its own thing. And again, you know, this is mostly going to be done on an actual database, so like this function actually can probably stay the same. But compute, it might just have to be like optimized and stuff when we actually get like a real database going. We take a user ID here, and then we're going to go ahead and return an array of, I think, an array of user objects. I think it's what we want. Do I have the concept of a user type here? I don't remember how I've been sorting that. No, mostly. So, Okay, so compute followers. So we need to go through. So we need to do a for each on filters or followage dot for each. This should just be an array of strings. Okay, I also need to do a return value. Okay, so for each follow data, if follow data at position 0 is equals to, or actually no, we care about follow data at position 1 here. So the position, the second index is the user that's following them, or the user they're following. So if we're trying to calculate the people who are following any given user, you need to look at the second one. If that's true, then you need to go ahead and return, or you need to return value dot push. You're pushing users. Are users keyed on ID? No, they're not. Fuck. Users dot find. I'll make another helper function to sort this out a little bit. I haven't done a lot of like good coding stuff for my servers. You can tell because it's also in one file and it's not huge, but so these really should not be capitalized. I'm doing some effort to clean this up. And again, these helper functions will probably stay, but we'll actually be accessing a database in the future. So this will just return users dot. I'm gonna use frag message. What? Users dot find user user dot ID equals user ID. That's all that is. But now I can just call pushing get user by ID. Well, actually, we should do get user by ID at follow data 0. It's a error that we won't run into right now, but we will later. So, and then push follower onto the thing. Great. And then after that's done, we go ahead and return value. Cool. So that's compute followers, and then we go ahead and just run user dot followers equals compute followers for user dot. I capitalized that. I didn't actually want to capitalize that. User ID. So that we use Pascal casing at work, and I don't mind using it. I just, decided not to use it for this project, but it's just a force of habit to capitalize everything in my world. Okay. So this is going to give a TS error for now. We're just going to go ahead and TS ignore it. To do. So what we really need to do is actually check the server file, which we're not going to do right now, but, yeah, there's going to be some questions there. Like, I wonder if there's a good way to keep types in sync between the front end and the back end. I don't know, though. I guess they're probably gonna get different, so it probably makes sense to have them separated out anyways. So user followers should be here, and then you should be able to return user. So we're gonna want to go ahead and test that this works. So again, we're giving it a user ID, and it should also give us the followers, which is a new thing. So let's go ahead and recompile the server here. It's here, it looks like. Yep. So yarn build, yarn start. I don't think I have any TypeScript errors. Conditional exports is an experimental feature. What? Okay. What am I conditionally exporting? Oh, I did still have that line in there. Maybe that was what I was yelling about. Yeah, seems like it. Oh, just kidding. All right, well, I don't actually know what that's about. Anyways, so cool. Now we can go ahead and, if I can press my keys correctly, we can go ahead and check out our, oh, Jesus Christ. We can go ahead and visit our GraphQL playground on our local host. So we can go ahead and write our query now, and then this is, we're gonna go ahead and get user. User ID is 1, and then we want username, followers, and then followers is users, so we'll just get a username from them as well. Cool. Okay, so it clearly didn't, did I do the condition wrong? Because it should only be displaying 3. I should only have 3 followers, essentially. Oh, I just put if follow data 1. That's why. Okay, so if follow data 1 is equal to user ID. Great. All right, that should solve that. So now I'm not just returning all of them. So let's go ahead and rebuild real quick and double check that this works in the playground. And this is one of the beauties of developing with GraphQL. It's like it's fairly easy just to try things in the playground before you have to use them in your app. Obviously, there are other technology, like I could do the same with the REST API also, but I don't know. I like the playground. I think it's a nice interface to do it. Okay, so that's ready. So let's go check that out again. Nice. So I have my 3 followers, and I've got the usernames of all 3 of them. Pretty good. Cool. So that's useful. I don't think we need that on search user. So the other thing we need to do now is that we need to go ahead and add this to our... So let's see, where is this type getting defined? It's just export interface user. So we're gonna do a second type that's export interface user with followers. I guess I could just make it an optional type on the first one. Yeah, I guess go either way, I guess. Did I spell followers? Am I going insane? Can it refer to itself like that? I sure hope so. I never even thought about that. Oh, seems fine. Okay. Okay, yeah, so we have user has followers, which, again, let's mark as optional because otherwise it's going to cause some errors. So if, so we'll do a little conditional here. So if user.followers, then we go ahead and can return text, followers, and like, again, this is not styled or anything, and this is pretty bad, so user followers dot length. Oh, need to finish returner, eh? Can I return null? I feel like I couldn't. No? Oh, well, that worked. So, alright, now in our profile wrapper, we have our test user, so we can go ahead and make followers. I should type this as an actual user. No, it doesn't, you know. Doesn't actually prevent me from compiling or anything if I don't do that, but for my own sake. So these all need to be test objects. So I'm actually gonna kind of bullshit these right now. And just make them empty objects. Oh, it's actually not gonna let me bullshit them, is it? Because they have to be users. This is fine, actually. This seems really bad because, like, they're just empty and they're not actually doing anything, but I just want to display the number for now. So that's totally cool. Yeah, okay, I think that works. I have 3 followers. We need to display a feed. So do I have feed as a component, right? But like, I don't know, what are the props here? It's like navigation route stuff. So I actually don't have any way of filtering the feed right now. So I think I need to do that. So, well, okay, before we do that, I should actually implement this with a real GraphQL query because I just wrote it on the back end, right? So like, we might as well just go for it now. So instead of doing this, we're gonna go ahead and write a query. So const, it's gonna be get user. I need to remember how to do this with a, I need to remember how to do this with an actual query that people are inputting. So I believe I'm doing this in user search for sure. Or in user search wrapper, perhaps. Yeah, so export const get users, the GraphQL tag. We're running get users and then getting some return data here. So I can go ahead and yank this real quick. And it's going to be get user singular. This is going to be query get user, and this is going to be, instead of search users, it's going to be user, and then query is going to be, so user ID is going to be, just change the names of these so it's more clear what's going on here. And then we have the ID, the username, the profile picture URL. We care about the bio here. We also want followers, and then we need to specify there, which I have ID, username, profile picture URL from them. Okay, so I need to import this. I think that is going to work though. Alright, so this is going to break momentarily while I delete the test user. Yeah, why am I blanking on how to do this? It's const loading variable data. Okay, so we go ahead and take this. So, yeah, we're running the profile wrapper right now. So the user ID is going to be the prop here. That's going to be a string. So now we're going to take loading error data from use query, user data return. What is user data return? We define that over there. Oh, mine's going to be slightly different. we'll call it user data return, I guess, that's fine. But mine's just gonna be user, and then it's gonna be a single user. And our variables are not query, they're going to be user ID, which is our props, and then we're gonna be using get user, not get users, and then we just need to import stuff. So if loading, then we have a return loading overlay. Type. If error, then we can go ahead and return. I think we have an error overlay. Pretty sure I made this. Oh, look at me. Look at past me. Did I not give it the option to... Does it not have a prop for the error? Oh, it does. Okay. I was saying it'd be pretty odd if it didn't have the thing for the error. Okay, so then if not, we have a profile. This should be data.user. I guess if not data.user. We'll return another error overlay where the error is equal to the string. Couldn't find user, I guess? I think that covers all of our bases here. And then if data exists, then we're Gucci here, don't need that. User is data.user, so then we the other thing we need to assure here is that so we're just checking if data and the length of search users is... I actually don't know what we're doing there. I read the function however long ago. It's a while. Okay, so in theory this should work, except for we haven't passed... we haven't passed an ID to the profile wrapper and the profile screen. So the component here, how do I do this? So there's a way for me to pass. I mean, there's route params, but I don't really want that. What I want to see if I can do is, so this is a profile, so this is the screen of a profile navigator, it's a stack navigator. So I just need to go check out the docs for that. So stack navigation, API reference. Looks like you create stack navigator. So API definition, screen options, initial route name. That's the tab bar, which I don't care about. Options. Examples. So it renders component. It gives me some options. Component. Can I like render a... I'm just giving it a component. I'm not actually rendering it, right? So what I want to do is I want to... I want to pass props to screen React navigation. Pass props using a function, so they're doing instead of assigning screen component, I used function. So yeah, ooh, fucking pushed on my toe real hard. I didn't really see that. I do? So this is going to be, I'm going to put this as 1. I have a tag for things I need to do. Looks like you're passing an inline function for a component prop to the screen profile. Passing an inline function will cause the component state to be lost on re-render and cause perf issues since it's recreated every render. You can pass the function as children to screen instead to achieve the desired behavior. Oh, okay. So they're saying you do... So instead of putting it as the component, we just render here a profile wrapper with the user ID. Oh, that's nice. Right? Why is this yelling at me? Type element provides not much for the signature props. Got an invalid value for children prop for the screen profile. It must be a function returning a React element. Oh, so you have to do... oh, this is like, yeah, really silly. You have to do... If I'm remembering correctly, is that how to do this. Hello, kitty cat. You coming in? Hi, Bobo. Close the door real quick. Yeah, Bobo. Can't up on the desk though. No. Okay, yeah, so it just has to be a function instead of it just being the component outright. Wait, why did it still give me... Did it still give me the warning? Okay, it looks like not, I guess. I mean, presumably this worked, right? So we could change this to 2 and see. It did work. Nice. Cool. So what we need to do here, I need to make a note, and I am continually failing to remember what I put this. I need to put. I'll just put it here. No, get down. Get down. Stop. It's like a... How did I name it? Oh, it's at tasks for auth. That's... I made this tag for things that I need to do when I implement auth, and I really... Here, can I... Is this in the Trello board yet? Because I should put it there. I made it, and it's like, I think a good idea, so I can just like go back and be like, all the things I'm not currently accounting for at all with authentication. No login registration, okay. To-dos that are related to this are tagged with okay, because I keep forgetting that, so it's tasks for auth. So here on the profile screen, we don't need that. On the profile screen, let's go ahead and do to do default the user ID to the currently logged in user. And at tasks for auth. Okay, cool. So yeah, it's fine for right now, but okay, so the query is working here. It looks like. So before we dive into the feed stuff, because I have to do, I think, a little bit more work to get that implemented, let's go ahead and get this looking better, because it looks like shit right now. So we're going to make this basically take up, I think, the top half. So let me close out of quite a few things open. Actually, let's restart that video real quick. Okay, so we're only opening the profile. That's all we care about. We're just doing display component stuff now. Great. So let's go ahead, and what I'm going to do is actually return this in a fragment. So this view here is actually just going to be the view for, well, let me actually return a fragment. Oh, I just didn't closing tag it. Okay. So what we're going to do here is this view is going to be basically the, we're going to make the second view, and we'll put some text placeholder. This is a feed placeholder. So then things we need to do here is that flex needs to be, oh, I need to make a second object here. Yep. Like I said, I have a pretty good idea of how I want this to look. I think I do. I guess we'll start with what I was thinking, and then, you know, we can refine off that. So in this view, we need the flex, it being a column is fine still. We should go ahead and center everything. I believe it's aligned content should be center. Why is it never? I can never remember the difference between aligned items and aligned content, but it's something I should probably figure out. So let's go ahead and make this a little bigger here. That looks better, and then let's also go ahead and make this have make this rounded. I think it's 25. What's what it is? Oh no. Can I just do 100%? I'm converted a number. Okay. Great. Okay. So that's got that, and then this text should be probably significantly bigger. So like font size should be closer to like, let's say 48. Oh, that is humongous. Never mind. 36 is still pretty fucking large. Holy shit. Try 28. Whew, not console worn. Pressing shift, I swear. Yeah, this is actually massive. Let's also do, I want to have this as bold, I'm pretty sure. Great, and then the bio, I think you just need to have some spacing in between. So we need to just put that inside of a view, because I don't think I can do padding on that. This should be a margin top. Let's do 15. So I'm putting flex 1 on this here, which this is actually going to be bad because it's going to shift everything around. But we can go ahead and make... Oh! Alright, so that means I need to wrap this in a view. And then this view should have style. You don't want to distort the actual size of the image. That would be bad. Cool. And then, does that mean I need to put everything inside this? I wonder if I can just flex this text. So I have to apply flex 1 on everything, otherwise, like, things will just look bad, which is fine. In some ways, I wish it sort of defaulted to that. That would be kind of nice. And then if this exists, then we should have flex 1. This is actually a ton of work for something that I'm really just trying to make. So I should wrap this image in a view still, I think. So I'm still going to do that. But what I'm really just trying to do is to try to add a top margin here. So we'll just do that. That's the more direct way about it. Is it better? Perhaps not, but I think it's just easier to understand, you know, what I'm doing here. Let's do 40? Could even stand to do more. Oh, stop doing the console warn. I'm pressing Control instead of Shift, and it's really fucking me there. Failed prop type, invalid border radius of type string supplied to image expected number. Yeah, that's what I'm doing, right? Yeah, it's not 100% anymore. That's still reading off that, is it? Okay. So the other thing I want to do here is set some sort of background color. This is the part where me having better design chops would be helpful. So let's try doing it as a full white. I don't think that'll look good. Yeah, like we want it to be different, but I don't know how different we want it to be. So the other thing we can do here is sort of slowly inch up the size of the feed, because relative to the profile thing, right, it shouldn't be huge. Maybe this should be... Padding between the name and the bio seems a little excessive right now. feel like this needs to be a different... what's my other font I'm using that I don't remember the name of? That we're using in the feed, I'm pretty sure. Specifically in posts, young serif. I don't love that. Oh, that reset that to there. Okay. We need to like italicize the bio or something. Like something is off. Font variant is not what I want then. What is it? Text style? It's font style. It's like... How does this look right now? Pretty shitty. Okay, font variant of type string supplied to text. Okay, so yeah, that's just those errors are persisting because I just didn't dismiss them. So we have tabletop dev person. Maybe we just make the background this and then make the text white. It's actually not terrible. It's not a bad idea. It's just color, right? Color. I need to make the background color the same as whatever that blue is, which I don't remember what that blue is, but that will be inside of profile screen, I think. Common stack navigator styles, it's this hex code here. Cool. There's still a slight line, which doesn't look great. I also don't love it. It's really dark. It's really dark. Alright, well, not as big of a fan as I thought it would be. I don't know, man. It looks awful, but... Maybe just leave it looking shitty for now, and then I just like work on the actual functionality of it, and I can like come back through. Because again, the design stuff is like a little easier for me to do off stream because I can just like sketch it out and sort of think about it and perhaps like send it to people. And it takes a little bit longer. It's a little more asynchronous. So perhaps I just wait on that for now, and then we can just go ahead. We still have followers, which is cool, and then we can go ahead and get the feed implemented. So yeah, let's just go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna commit what I have right now. So what is this? Added single user query, added control space is what I want, right? Is it command enter? Jeez, I can't remember. All my Mac shortcuts. Alright, so let's go ahead and do add base profile. Okay, and then command B, and then okay, so alright, so now we're on to feed stuff. So the first thing we need to do here is that we don't have a way currently to to filter the feed based on anything, really. So in this case, what the plan is that basically whenever you visit someone's profile, it's going to show a feed of all of the check-ins they've done. So at the very base, you know, what I really want is to be able to filter the feed by user ID. Now, there's a very good chance that I want to filter it by something else too. So I guess there's a question of like whether or not I build it out to be really robust. I don't know. You know, there's a very good chance maybe that this is the only filter I have. So I think we should just assume for right now at least that it's the only filter. And then if like, you know, I really need it on something else, then we can change it later. So this will also make it easier, I think, too. So if we look for posts, oh, we could actually just make a separate query, to be honest. So post by user, right, which would have a user ID string. This would actually be more straightforward, and yeah, sort of. Yeah, this is gonna be really easy to write a resolver for too. Again, at least for right now, because we don't have a database. A lot of this, so much of this is gonna have to change, and you know, the point where I clean most of this code up is probably the point where like I implement the database, which is like really far along, to be honest. So we're here right now on base user profile, so we're gonna do edit profile, game searching in pages. Oh, we need to do feeds by game, actually, is the other thing. But I'll just make a separate query for that. I want to make lists, report system, all this stuff, like before we even get to set up database and base schema and like figuring out the back end and all that jazz. So it's a ways down the pipeline, but this code will eventually get cleaned up. But for now, it's, you know, fine, and it works. So so what we need to do is go ahead and implement a new query. So this is post by user. We're gonna have this underscore argument, which I forget what that does. I read the docs on it and I don't remember. I believe I don't need it though, at least for the simple stuff like this. So user ID is a string. And so here we're just returning post.filter. The callback function, we have post. So this is where post dot how am I making posts? I can't remember. We can go to the types object. Well, okay, I just need to look here. Post gets pushed with new post, so it should be author. It's an actual user object. So post dot author dot ID is equal to user ID, and then after we've done that, then we're going to go ahead and sort them, which is the same sort function we're using here, which is just chronologically. Oh, and this should be args.user ID. We made this mistake last time. Ah. Okay. Yeah, args.user ID, and then we're gonna go ahead and sort it. I think that's correct. So we'll need to go ahead and restart the server. We'll need to actually make some posts because we don't have any posts by default anymore, just because we're capable of making them on the app. I don't think this should change anything about the post creation flow on the app. So it seems like it's ready. So we're gonna go ahead and add a this check-in form. Test one. So this is actually kind of bad because like I don't have any way to make I actually don't have any way to make posts from another user. So I should probably make another debug thing that does it. So where is this? This is getting on. Feed navigator, we're doing check-in. Is check-in where I'm doing? Oh, it's literally on the feed component, I think. Oh, I should also mark this as debug. I don't know why. I think it was still in a time where I thought that wasn't debug for some reason, but it definitely is. And then let's go ahead and make... So we'll make a second one. Well, okay. What I should do, actually, is just make a test post. So what we should do, and the reason is because, like, having it log from, like, a different user is going to be kind of a pain in the ass, because I think I have to, like, change some props and shit. Well, do I? Is it really that hard? Oh, that's not what I wanted. Let me look. We're checking. What's our create post one? Where's this getting called? Create post is use mutation. Create post is getting called here. Variable author ID is 1. Check-in form data. What am I calling on here? Navigating to check-in, which is going to the component, and then we're giving it the game. Just going to route params game. So where are the params getting set? Base props for check-in, and then route, stack navigation, params list, screen name. Oh, so on check-in. Okay, oh, I can actually change this rather easily. So now you can add that to the props, and then we can go ahead and do, in the feed, ask orphan for request. View images. Oh, okay, I don't know why that is. So I'll just set this as 1, right? So, let's find the other place where we navigate, which is going to be in game search, right? Or game search wrapper, I guess. Yeah, this is actually a fairly simple change. I was worried this was going to be really hard. But it's not too bad, I don't think. So then on check-in, you're creating the post down here, and then author ID should actually be route.params.user ID. So that's going to be 1 in most cases, but then we can make a new button here and feed, which I can go ahead and just steal this button entirely. And then instead of, it can be our test game, and then we can also just make it user ID 2, or we'll do 3, I guess. I guess it doesn't matter. Can I make it random, actually? A random between 0 and 1, and then if we just modulus it by 3. Right? Is that how that works? Or we do modulus by 2 and then add 1? This is me showing my... I often don't remember this, and then this entire thing goes to string. I should actually output this user ID before I do this. Okay, so where does that get put? It gets put here, I think? Okay, we're just not gonna do that. I noticed how it's like randomly pick between 1, 2, or 2, 3, or 4. That's really what I want. Oh, it's times 10, not modulus. I'm dumb. That's why. You need to floor it. So this is between 1 and 10. This should be math.floor math.random. And then you're multiplying by, in this case we went 3. No, 4. Multiplying by 3. Multiplying by 3 plus 1. So what are they parentheses there? I don't think that's needed, actually. So this would do 1 and between 1 and 3. I guess I just put parentheses for readability. Must be. So that would be between 1 and 3. Sorry, but I actually want between 2 and 4. This would be 1 and 4. It would be 3 times 3 plus 2, I think. Oh, and then again, this whole thing should be 2 string. Okay, so now I can go ahead and go back to our terminal, and we can go to their check-in form. It goes to be 3, 4, 3, 3, 4, 2. Great. Okay, yeah. So that should give me posts from other people who are not me. I can make a little note of that. Makes a post from someone that isn't my user. Just like that diff user. Cool. So then Did that work? Seemingly. So I'm outputting, I believe, the post object every time I do this. Yeah, I mean, that looks correct. It didn't get added to the stash. And we have key problems here. This is that bug that was showing up earlier. Oh god, what the fuck? Oh, okay. This was that bug that was showing up earlier that I couldn't figure out how to do. Or I couldn't figure out what was happening. So like if I go into, I think the easiest way to introspect on what is there right now is let's just go ahead and do like posts in general, and then let's have, oh jeez. And then let's just have the author ID, I think, or username. We also just need the ID of the post, and then what else? I think that's it. I think that's all we care about. So this was a bug that was showing up, but I couldn't like repro it reproducibly. Yeah, so these two are sharing an ID, and I don't know why that is. Now, I can still ignore this for a little bit. It's sort of an elusive bug, and I'll have to fix it eventually. But I guess in the meantime, what we can do is we can check posts by user, right? So that worked. Our post by user query worked, even though this is kind of in a fucked state because the IDs are the same. So that's good to know. So let's go ahead and work with that. So if we're going to look at if we're going to look at profile wrapper, we need to make a second query here. So we should probably rename these. Show it to VS Code's refactor thing, because I think that's really easy. So now the other thing we need to do is loading as feed loading. Error as feed, error data as feed data is going to be equal to use query. It's not going to be user data return. It's going to be interface feed data. And this is going to be posts, I think. I need to make a new query here, so this is going to be... Actually, don't want to export this. Let's just do our const get user, and then const get user feed is cool. So now we can do query. user ID can be a string here, so we're gonna have to pass that in. And then we're doing posts by users, the name of the query here. And then the user ID there should be equal to the that. And then also, for posts, we're going to want, what are we doing on the feed itself right now? So what's the actual, we're going to go ahead and copy this over just because this is, I think, what we want anyways. Have one extra thing there. ID, author, username, game, caption, date, rating, tagged users. Okay. And then what we're doing here basically is we're just going to be taking this scroll view, which I should probably put this into a component because I'm using it in multiple places now. Well, what I need to be doing is putting this in the profile. So in the profile, inside the feed placeholder, we're instead going to put this. Should have flex 2. Because this is replacing the view we just had in here. Now, some of this isn't going to make sense, right? Because this needs to be just posts. Add scroll view, and then this profile props is going to be posts. Is going to be posts. Array posts. And this can be. Okay, so yeah, the problem is actually is we need to do, this should be post type. And then we have a double react thing, which I don't want. Need to import post. Great. So now we just need to pass those down to the profile component. So if user loading or if the feed's loading, and then if we have a user error, that's great. If we have a feed error. There's got to be a more elegant way to handle this. I've never done 2 queries really in one component. So I wonder, like, does it make more sense to combine them into one query where we just have one, get profile info where we're basically just doing. Oh, wait. No. So what I can do, actually, and I'm kind of silly, I didn't think about this. This is sort of the beauty of GraphQL, right? Is I actually don't need... I don't need 2 queries. I don't need 2 of them. So we can just call this on the same, it'll be the same user ID. So then instead we just have one object with the return for both of them. So we'll just rename things a little bit. Or let's call it get profile data, okay. And then we can go ahead and put this in here, and then post is gonna be, and it won't be post actually, it'll be post by user. That's something I didn't catch the first time. So now this will all be in the same thing. So now we can go ahead and just, get rid of all this. Get profile data. And then, yeah, we don't have to call this user loading anymore. We can just call it loading. yeah, this way it simplifies it a bunch because I don't need to make 2 queries. You know, I don't need to have like handle the loading states of both of those. That's way more annoying. And then this should be, let me refactor this. I cannot rename this element, that's fine. Just manually do this real quick. So then we don't need this if feed error. So if data doesn't exist, then this isn't user data, this is data, and then also we have posts is going to be equal to data.postByUser. Great, so this error shouldn't be couldn't find user, it's just, we'll just rename it generically to couldn't fetch data for profile. Again, my error overlays are like super generic and not all that useful right now. It's one of those things where it's like, obviously handling error states is important, but it's a little harder because like, I don't know, the backend's not super robust right now, you know, mostly because like we don't have a database hooked up to it or anything. So like, I think it's mostly fine for us to have sort of a, you know, a little bit of a fucky check in there. So this bug is still happening because we still have 2 identical keys. But let's check out the profile, see if it worked. And it encountered 2 children with the same key. So again, this is post by user, so this should be working. And then did I make the flex? I made a flex 2 on this. Do I want to make that 3? Does scroll views not do flux well? Like, what's going on here? Like, that's the same. Do I have to put my scroll view inside of a view? That seems really weird. Okay. So let's go and make this flex. I think 2 is what I wanted? But maybe 3, I don't remember. So let's go ahead and put that there, and then let's get rid of the flex part in the scroll view. Yeah, okay. I don't know why scroll view doesn't respect flex, but... So, you know, things I need to do. The color of this looks bad, and I don't know what to change it to. For generic profiles, there needs to be a follow button there. Yeah, it looks like shit, but like I said, I'm going to do, I think, some design stuff off stream. Those are the words I'm trying to say. To try and make this look better, but like functionally, like this is everything that it should do. I guess the only other question is like, should you have the username displaying on these badges if we're like on a user, right? Like we know who is doing these check-ins. You know. Or I guess some notes to put here that are sort of up in lingo for me. I'm gonna put them on here. So for the profile tab of the navigator. Okay, great. So base implementation of this is done. But have 2 concerns. So one is that do we want to show posts where the user is tagged? So if someone tags you on a post, are those going to show up on your profile by default? And I feel like we might have tackled this. Where did I put that? That was on Notion, right? Which I have admittedly been slacking on my Notion game. Let me... Oh, I have to sign in. God dang it. Okay, hold on. Do I have missions? I can't really access on my other computer. Give me a second. Let me sign back into this real quick. Okay, I think that's... Okay, that should be good. So, this is the general MVP outline of stuff. So let me look at... Okay, so I put may or may not include tagged check-ins. So I don't know. So the thing is with this is that if you are displaying tagged check-ins, again, posts that you didn't necessarily make but you're tagged on, so you're still like a part of them, right? So they still count for you. In that case, this should probably show, because if it's a tagged post, then like you'll want to know that it's a tagged post. If not, if it's only posts that you've specifically made, I think you could argue you could remove that. I don't know. So the decision I'm making right now is that basically I just don't have to do anything, because if we decide to show checked posts, then keeping this, makes sense. But I think otherwise this looks pretty good, actually, in terms of functionality. Again, it actually looks really bad, and I'm aware of that, painfully aware. But that's fine. That's fine. But yeah, this is a pretty simple version of our user feed, which again, the data is kind of fucked because of a different bug right now. So, but there are 3 posts and one of them is not mine, so that's correctly showing those. And we're showing followers. Again, there's your bio, but yeah, we're gonna have to clean that up. So I'm actually not even gonna post this because I feel pretty good about like where they are. So I'll just put still need to decide. Oh, wait a second. Okay, hold on. On the description, I put include tag check-ins. When did I make this card? April 16th? When did I write that doc? Does it tell me a history of when? Oh, it was April 16th. Okay, so on Trello, I decided to include tag check-ins. Okay, well, that's fine. Then we'll just go with that, since that's what I decided. So if that's the case, we'll need to add that. So let's go ahead and we're going to delete this console log because I don't need that anymore. But let's go ahead and add everything else here, which is basically just this commit will implement feed on user profiles. And then let's go ahead and, after we've committed that, we can go ahead and get started on changing it to include tagged posts as well. So we need to go back to the server. So for post by user, we also want to include, we'll actually want to make this function probably a little bit more robust, so we'll want to make it into an actual function, I think. Let's do that. So if we have this, so if this is true, this is just if it's a post by the user, then we should just return true. Shit, still can't type. Yo, L Squared, thanks so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream, hope you're doing well. As always, let me know if you have any questions or anything like that. Okay, so if it's equal, otherwise we need to check to see if it's tagged. So if the post dot, is it tagged users, I think? So the tagged users is an array of users, I believe. Yeah. So I'm gonna need a filter on this real quick. So we need to do post.taggedusers.filter. Based on, so this should be post, or sorry, user. It's a user here. And then user.id is equal to user ID. I'm sorry, that's args.user ID. Okay, so that should look through all the tagged users, and it will only return no, I just need to do find. I don't need to do filter. Because it should be what is it? Find or find index. Yeah, so I don't need the value, I just need to know if it exists. So actually what we can just do here is if post.taggedusers.find index, and then we have post and then this should be post dot, or these are users, not posts. So I should actually type things here. User.id is equal to args.userid. Yeah, so if the index of that is greater than or equal to 0, because again, it'll return -1 if it doesn't exist, and that means it exists, which means that means our user is part of the tagged users, which then means we want to return true, and then afterwards, if that's not the case, those are the only two cases where that's the case, then we return false. So that should filter correctly. I need to go ahead and test that, so we'll need to restart the server as well real quick. Oh, what's going on? I live in KCMO. Oh, awesome. Yeah, I have been to the City Museum a few times. I don't go super often, but yeah, it is a, oh god, it is a cool place. It's definitely one of those places, if people are in town and they've like never been to St. Louis before, then I usually recommend them to go. Okay, I still don't know what this conditional export says. I don't think I've done anything. Okay, so let's see, what do we got? So now our posts are going to be empty here, and that's fine. So let's do diff user test, and then we'll want to go ahead and find a user. So we're going to tag myself on this post. Oh god, I forgot that still looks terrible. Okay. Great, so this is by someone else, but I'm tagged on it. So now if we go to my profile, it should show up here, and it does. Now again, to be sure this is sort of working, let's go ahead and make a check-in form of me. This is me, and then go ahead and rate that, and then check in. Great, and the posts didn't fuck each other over. Now if I go to my profile, should return both. It didn't update the query is the only problem. So why is that? Is that because it only put it into, so we're doing, where's that getting done? I think it's getting done in the feed. So whenever the feed happens, whenever we get, or it's not feed, sorry, it's the shit. Oh god, I keep pressing control, it's like, man. Whenever we run the check-in, we go ahead and put cache read query. Okay, so the problem here is that we also need to update various other feeds where this exists. So what's happening here is that so this is using Apollo's cache system. Right now what we're doing is we're updating the cache based on this get post query, which controls the feed. So that happens whenever we make a new check-in, that's going to show up on this feed, and that's going to work fine. The problem is that this feed is actually using a different GraphQL query, which is fine, right? Because we kind of have to. So all we need to do is here we need to make sure that we are updating the cache for this query as well. So, but in theory, what we need to do is any user, either the author or any users that are tagged on these posts, we need to update all of their queries if they have them. Now, this might be a little weird, so we're gonna have to do this first. So, at the very least, we're gonna go ahead and do author profile feed data. It's gonna be cache.read query. So I'm actually gonna need to. This is where I'm going to need to export some of the stuff from my profile wrapper. So this is export. So yeah, and that's why a lot of these were exported, I think. Export const profile data, and then feed data return we can get rid of. We're also going to need to export interface of profile data. Oh, here, let me just use the rename. Profile data return. So this should be profile data return. And then, wait, why can't it export that? Anyways, I'll get that in a second. And then afterwards, we're going to go ahead and do our query as get prof. It's not really acknowledging that I exported these. Get profile data is the name of this. And what are the other possibilities here? Can I do variables? Yeah. So user ID needs to be equal to author. Should be post data here. Should be create post dot user ID or dot author dot ID, I think. Went there once I was 15 or so. Yeah, it's a super cool place. And it's like fun if you're older too, which is really neat. You know, I feel like a lot of those like sort of like interactive hands-on museums can get like very boring very fast. But I find that CD Museum is such like an odd and very interesting place that in general, it does not get boring easily, which is pretty cool. So assuming this worked, we're gonna go ahead and make the assumption that it worked. I don't know that it did. So actually, it's just if the author profile feed data exists. So if this query has not been called already, it's not in the cache, then we don't have to worry about this. Then we don't care. But if it does exist, then we do need to update it. So then what we need to update is we're gonna go ahead and cache.write query, not write data, write query. And again, we're just updating the cache stuff on the front end here. So the query is what's it called? I'll get profile data. And then the data is going to look like, so there are two things here. So the first is, first is user, which is just, we're not changing that. So author profile feed data dot user, we'll keep that the same. And then what we're gonna go ahead and do is we need to change, I think it's post by user, I'm pretty sure. And the post by user should be, we're just adding one there. So this should be create post dot post and then dot 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 author, or what am I calling this? Author profile feed data dot. Post by user. Okay, so this is only gonna work with authors, so let's make sure that works. So we're gonna do another one, another, just doing all caps, what the hell? Let's check in. Can't find field user on object posts. Okay, so let's not write the query yet, and let's just instead go ahead and just console log profile data, query data. God, that's a terrible, that's a terrible way to write that. So we're console logging author profile feed data. So we're gonna go ahead, because I think things might have gotten fucked on here, we're gonna go ahead and restart this. Farm building yard start. While that's going on, I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. So I'll be back in just a few minutes. Thanks everyone for sticking around. If you're enjoying the stream, consider following it, and you'll get notifications whenever we go live, which hopefully should just be every Sunday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. And yeah, I'll be back. Alrighty. Nice, and we're back. Okay, what do I do? I restarted the server. That's what we're doing. I'm doing intermittent fasting, so I'm really hungry, but I can't eat yet because it is not yet whatever time I eat. Noon. That's the time I eat. But it is a bummer that I cannot eat. All right. So, we're checking to make sure. Oh, we're trying to see why this cache issue isn't working. So I need to make a thing. So let's go ahead and make this. Oh, so we'll need to check in. It'll be. Can't find user on object. Wait, where is that happening? Because then I just changed it to be a console log. Right. Cannot find field user. I don't know where this is happening at. What did I change besides this? Did I completely just comment this out? Yeah, so it's something to do with that. Profile data return, query, get profile data. Gives us profile data return, which again is user and posts by user, right? Yeah, that's correct. The query is get profile data. Again, is confirm is the same one we're using. Problem that we called the query get user. Okay, so let's look at the documentation for cache.readQuery because I don't know what's going on there. So this should be Apollo. Don't remember. We're looking for Apollo client. Caching, configuring the cache, interacting with the cache. Important. You should call these methods on your app's Apollo client object, not directly on the cache. By doing so, the Apollo client object broadcast cache changes to your entire app, which enables automatic UI updates. If you call these methods directly in the cache, instead changes are not broadcast. Ooh, what does that mean? Oh, I see what that means. No, the changes are broadcast, though. I wonder if that's actually an issue. So we could try that. So what it's saying to do is take the, I believe we have to set up an app.tsx. Yeah, init Apollo client. I guess we could just export this. Well, so this is using a mutate. So here, okay, now let me look at fetching data and mutations. So executing a mutation, calling the mutate function, providing options, tracking mutation status, updating the cache after mutation. If it updates a single existing entity, Apollo client can automatically update the entity's value in the cache. That's updating a single to-do. On submit, update to-do. Mutation returns both the ID of the modified to-do item and the item's new type. Because Apollo client caches entities by ID, it knows how to automatically update the corresponding entity in its cache. If a mutation modifies multiple enemies, or if it creates or deletes entities. Okay, yeah, so which is why I can't. So it calls an update function. The update is saying to do the cache. Okay, so the docs are kind of contradicting themselves, but this is seemingly working. Oh, here we go. Any changes you make to cache data inside of an update function are automatically broadcast to queries that are listening for changes to that data. Consequently, your application's UI... Yeah, so okay, I don't have to worry about this. They're just saying... They were mentioning in the other thing, basically, that if you want to do... If you're doing it in other places besides in the update function. Yeah, so this is what I'm doing, where we're adding... Yeah. Yeah, okay, so what's going wrong here? That error was, like, kind of cryptic. What's happening here? So again, we're just trying to console log it. We're not even trying to write with it. So I don't think it even succeeds on the write query. I think that's where... Reading from cache is here. Yeah, I think this feels like it's the issue. Check-in form, blah, blah, blah. I think it has to do with this. Oh, it's because it doesn't return the author's ID. That's not 100% why. Actually, yeah, I think that's entirely the issue. Okay, so my data is kind of going to be fucked here. So let's restart the server. Yeah, I think that's almost certainly what the issue is. Let's go ahead and reload this. So now we should get a console log. What? Let's just output the post, like, data, right? Okay. Error writing result to store for query. Why is this happening? This is real weird. It's like if we have anything after the write query, it errors. It's like, so I put this up here, I put it above. That feels so odd, dude. Okay, dismiss. Reload. Okay, that worked seemingly. Okay, I don't know why that was erroring. It looks like I was already console logging that. Or wait, no, this is part I'm looking at. Yeah, so to be clear, I have post.author.id. I think I have this. Like, it's just check-in form. So again, data's gonna be kind of fucked here. Well, like, is that why it's erroring? Is because the data is kind of fucked? I really should fix this duplicate ID bug because this is getting a little frustrating now. Reading from cache, ID is 1, so clearly. Create post.post.author.id. Yeah, so like that's... Is the problem that, like, is write query asynchronous and I'm trying to interact with the... Is that the problem? Is that if you try and interact with the cache when it's doing another operation, that it yells at you? Like, that would make sense as to why it's yelling if I put it after there, right? Because it's trying to write to the cache and I'm trying to access the cache at the same time. Is it the variables? Is it the variables in general? Is that the issue? So let's try to adjust the query, right? Objects are not valid as a React child? Oh god. What the fuck happened here? Check inform, test. Not find field user. To be clear, I did... It is user ID, right? Yeah. I don't know if the naming of that actually matters. I really should just search this error, I think, here in a second. Yeah, cannot find field user on object. Okay, let's search that. The user is like my field. Not find field on object. Oh yeah, great. This happens when I try and update the store when I add an item and I make sure they're loaded. I've tried removing the filter field, which I thought might cause the problem. It doesn't make a difference. The problem was my optimistic response didn't contain the same fields as the one in the store, which seems weird, but that fixed it. I ended up with a bit of a different error now, but similar in a lot of ways. Cannot find field viewer on object root query. Yeah, so this is what's happening 100%. The problem arises when I attempt to read a query from the store with a query that has not yet been loaded, then I get the exception. Wrapping the block of code that handles the updates in try-catch block did here would fix the issues. Would you recommend that as a viable option? Any GraphQL query that has a null argument will cause this error. Well, that's not necessarily true though, right? I won't complain about Apollo's that simple CRUD stuff is not as turnkey as you like. Yeah, that's fair. Basically, if your mutation is on a page, create post, and it creates a post, that's great. You'll have access to root mutation in the cache. But this page doesn't just create a post. It just creates a post, it doesn't show the post. So there are no query get posts that are triggered. In that case, there are no root query in the cache. So when cache.writeQuery or store.writeQuery tries to find the data inside root query, it'll throw an error. Why don't you just tell us? Yeah, that's fine. If the user didn't trigger the query, then you don't need to update the cache. The user will trigger the query and fetch the data. No, but this doesn't help me. So the problem is here is that I am... Right, if I load this query, right, then this query does exist when I come back here. It should. You know, maybe that's because I'm not putting a... Is that because I got rid of the variables part, which I don't think I want to get rid of. So yeah, now if we go ahead and, so just to reproduce what these people are saying, which it seems like it's if the query doesn't exist. So if I go here, the query exists at this point in my cache. It should, at least. This should work, and it does, Okay, so the problem is that when this doesn't exist, it throws an error. Yeah, you can do a try catch, but if you make a condition like cache.data.data.root query, another possible solution use write fragments. For what it's worth, running the same issue, found that I forgot the variables when calling read query. Maybe it can help someone. I mean, this is what I'm doing. Oh, he's just saying basically if you forgot the variables, then yeah, that makes sense. Because again, the error here is that it's whenever it's not defined. Okay, so what does read fragment do? They're saying that might work. Read fragment method enables you to read data from any normalized cache object that was stored as a part of any query result. Unlike read query, calls to read fragment do not need to conform to the structure of one of your data graph's supported queries. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so I don't think I want to do that. Yeah, okay, so it seems like my solution here is just, I should just put this in a try catch. Yeah, it's really odd that... Yeah, it's really odd that I think that errors out, but... No author query yet. That's fine. So now this should work, right? So now if we go... Error writing result to store for query. What? application attempted to write an object with no provided ID, but the store already contains an ID of user 1 for this object. Oh, this is probably that bug that's happening that I can't fix. Or that I can't reproduce. Or, okay, I probably could reproduce. I'm ignoring it, which is bad. Let's restart the server. Things seem a little fucked, data-wise. Okay, so server's ready. Let's go ahead and command D reload this. So let's go ahead and do the check-in form. Let's do a test. Great, that works fine. Now what we need to do is want to go ahead and, oh, objects are not valid as a React child found, error, network error, writing result to store for query. Why is that? The application attempted to write an object with no provided ID, but for the store already contains an ID of user 1 for the object. If you meant to render a collection of children, use an array instead. Oh, it's because I think there's no posts. I think there's no posts. Or... we're not going to do a new Figma install, thanks though. Data post by user, or if that doesn't exist, then we'll just put an empty array. I wonder if that's related. So that worked. Now if we go to the profile, it doesn't update here, but it's an error, which is good. That's what I want. And again, let's see, we got those two posts, and we go here, then they'll go. Great. So now what we need to do here is, now we can finally get back to what we were doing here, where we have an author query. Now this should work. So if we go ahead and check in. Fuck, okay. Why is that selecting ID 2? We need to fucking fix this bug. Okay, so it's non-unique bugs, or it's non-unique keys, which is actually an indication of that somehow when we're creating the post, the ID is getting set on the back end, it looks like. Can I do breakpoints on this? I would like to do that. Oh, it's raining. Ooh. Ooh, nice. I got some good rain going on outside. Dang. All right. File table overflow, scander, okay. So what we're gonna do is we're going to go ahead and close out of, so what we're gonna try and do is basically get breakpoint and working on our server. This is like a slight detour, but I should have done this already. And again, I need to fix this fucking error, so we're just gonna do it. So let's try run and debug Node.js. File table overflow, scander, debug, okay. Tabletop server. I'm gonna do Node.js. Node launch. Workspace folder, star.js. Is this gonna build? All right, debugger attached. Server ready. Okay, cool. This worked. Great. So now we can go ahead and do a breakpoint into create post, and we can go ahead and unbound breakpoint. Uh-oh. Oh no, do I have to make my breakpoints before? Reapply all breakpoints. Okay, what's the easiest way to stop this? Let's go ahead and restart it. Wait, what? What is this thing? This is a unbound breakpoint? What does this mean? Okay, so it's probably something with the configuration then. Launch JSON. What is... This is in Tabltop server, VS Code, launch JSON, workspace folder, node module has been... Okay, I don't care about that. Workspace folder, start.js. Skip files, launch program, program is index.js. How does this work with... What are out files? If source maps are enabled, these glob patterns specify the generated JavaScript files. Great, so the program is index.js. Is it because I'm using TypeScript? Yeah, TypeScript debugging with Visual Studio Code. So we need a following tsconfig JSON. You should select node.js from the dropdown. This is create a launch.json file in a VS Code folder with default values detected for your project. Pre-launch task. Okay, so I need to add this. Yeah, because this is going off index.js, not index.ts. Do I have a tsconfig.json here? I do. Do I need the source maps? I guess we'll find out. What's going on, Dylan? I'm just setting up debugging for my thing. Which I have not really done, so... I just think it wasn't configured for TypeScript correctly. Create executing task. So it should be building. Oh, why did that stop? Can I use import statement outside of a module? Oh, why is it, should it really be targeting?
Mapping the output location. If generated transfile JavaScript files do not live next to their source, you can open the VS Code debugger, locate them by setting the out files. So they do. That's fine. I don't need to do TS client side. My website has been forced to a stop since I can't figure out. Oh, oof. I don't fucking know how this all works. So today we've gotten done a decent amount of stuff already. We've gotten like a really rough profile page done. It looks really shitty, but like it gives you the info about the user as well as like a feed of their posts. What I was working on, I'm on a site tutor right now. What I was working on right now is that whenever so this feed, which is the main one, and this feed, which only shows the user's posts, are two different GraphQL queries. And so when we update our cache after we create a post, whenever we do that, we're currently updating the cache for this query, is how that works. So it's basically an optimistic write to where it sends the data off to the server, assumes it's going to work correctly, and then we go ahead and update it in our cache. The issue is we're only updating it for one specific query and not for both of them. So whenever we make a new post here, if it includes a user that we've looked at, it'll get updated here, but won't get updated here. So we only have 2 posts here, but we should have 3. So I'm trying to fix that. In relation to that, I have had this bug that's been showing up to where sometimes I get duplicate IDs whenever I create posts. I don't know why. So I'm going to fix that because it's rearing its head and is like, I just need to fix it. And so to help do that, I'm trying to set up debugging so that I can step through my function that's happening. That was a lot. That's what we're doing. Yeah. Profile could be like shrink into a small bar with an icon name as you scroll down. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I'm planning on doing some more design stuff about it, like off stream. I'm going to sort of take a look at it. I'm right now just trying to get it functional, which is mostly working pretty well, I think, so. Okay, so getting started with Node.js debugging. Debugging with source maps. Oh, so I think I probably just need... So I don't have an outer, but I should set source maps to true. I think that's just what's going on here. Okay, so now if I do go ahead and run launch program, it's gonna go ahead and execute that. Debugger attached. Oh, great. Okay, so that seems to work. So now again, what we're doing is... Oh, fuck yeah. Okay, we actually have a breakpoint. Yay! Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and do this. So it should breakpoint here. So post infos on args. Post info is here. Author ID is 1. Great. Where are posts at in general? Not local, global, I believe. Or it's just closure. Oh, okay, hold on. Things are gonna be kind of fucked, actually. Yeah. So we're gonna stop this, and then we're gonna go ahead and run it again. And it's because the state resets every time we run it again, and so it had like wildly different things as to what was going on here. So if we go and reload this, it'll download from the server, which is nothing. So now we make a new thing. So now there's gonna be no posts, right? Let's post .id parse int. Okay. So I'll just let this go. So this should work correctly. The slide transition is so clean. I didn't even do that. Thank you, Rack Navigation. Okay, so I'll do another test here. So now we should have So post, yeah, we have a post already, which is ID 1. So now if we get our last post, that should be a post, right? So now, let's go ahead and watch this statement. So to be like very clear about what is happening there. That's 2, yep. And then again, we have a new post, which is ID 2. And we go ahead and push that. Post, new post, great. Error writing to result, what? The application attempts to write an object with no provided ID, but the store already contains an ID of user 1 for this object. The selection set that was trying to be written is... What the fuck, man? Okay, I should get rid of the other... I bet you this other code's fucking with it. We'll just get rid of that. We're gonna fucking reload this shit. Great. Hopefully this doesn't show up as an error anymore. Maybe it will though, who the fuck knows. Okay, so now we have 3, right? We should have... So let's go ahead and check our debugger window. We have 2 posts, this is our 3rd. So we have post info, great. Our last post... Oh. Oh. Does push not push it on the end? I thought it did. Yeah, it returns it to the end. Okay, so that's why it's erroring. Seems really odd. Sorry. Yeah, that's really weird. So make a test. Go ahead and just skip that. Great, so that's our first one. We'll make our second one. Okay, so now post info, args, last post. So I've got a new post such as ID 2. We've got the closure. We've got 1 post in here. Also, this ID is number 1, not the string 1. I don't know if that's causing issues, but... Okay, why are you erroring? So now if we try to make a new one, Y has the... Oh, wait a second. Does post sort in place? Or does sort sorts in place, doesn't it? That's that's probably what it is. Yeah, it sorts it in place. Okay. Oh, what a silly bug. Okay, that's why. That's 100% why. So let's go ahead and just run the server from there. Is that the only place I'm calling sort? I'm doing it on there and there. So I think I can just spread it. Right, that should make a new one. I don't think this one's an issue because we have filter. Yeah, I actually don't think that's a problem. I think that one is a problem. Okay, so now let's go ahead and close out of this, rebuild, restart. Okay, what a sneaky little bug, man. All right, reload. So now we can go ahead and we can check in. Life is good. Now we can check in with ID 2, which again, I need to fix the fact that... And is that why it's yelling at me? Is because I have that one ID as a number, not a string? Probably not, right? I don't know why that error is happening. I feel like that's new. Yeah, it's a sneaky little thing, and I've been putting it off, but like, it's good for me to just find it, you know? It's one of those things that's also is not an issue at all whenever I'm doing database stuff, because I'll be actually querying it from a database, but it's fine. What's going on, Alabama man? Yes, and was a CS major. No longer in school, but yes. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that error is. Alright, well. Okay, test. This is ID 1 now. Whoa, what is this error? Stop! Okay, let's try and figure this out. The application attempted to write an object with no provided ID, but the store already contains an ID of user1 for this object. The selection set that was trying to be written is kind field name. Is it because it's trying to write a user into the cache? Is it trying to write based on... What is it doing here? So I know it caches based on ID, and I have the ID of the post. Well, that is on the server. Okay, so what am I doing? What else have I changed here on check-in? Let's get rid of that for now. Is it because I'm now including the ID of the author? And it's trying to recache the author? That's so annoying, if so. How do I focus when I code? I mean, I usually listen to music. I don't know if I have any like specific things I do. I'm usually like, pretty invested when I'm writing, right? So like, I generally enjoy what I'm doing, so it's pretty easy to do that. I find when I stream, I'm really good at focusing, in terms of like not getting distracted, like, you know, browsing Twitter or something, because you have people watching you, so like they expect you to be coding, not browsing Twitter. So that helps. I use the Pomodoro method briefly during work, or not briefly, I guess. I've used it off and on when it's working, and I'm not using it currently, but like that works pretty well. It is, in a lot of ways, just a matter of discipline, you know, to you paying attention and not like, you know, doing, I don't know, not doing other things. me restart this because it... Oh shit, that's not what I wanted to restart. Oh crap, okay. How was my first year? As in first year of college or work? I'm gonna assume college, but just wanna make sure. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh. I thought like things were like breaking horribly there. And it was just Metro Bundle resizing my damn terminal window. I hate that it does that so much, man. Like, can you just not fucking resize my terminal window? I have a specific size for a reason. Okay. Why is this taking so long? Was it because I was compiling also? Okay. So it's really because I requested the ID of the user back? That's so lame, if so. Why is it doing that? What even, man? It's trying to cache based on that, and I don't want it to... Wait a second, wait a second. I actually don't think it's that. I think it's... I bet you it's because I'm not... I think this needs to... I think the reason actually this is airing is because this needs to match... this needs to match the feed query. So because we're not requesting it here, we're requesting the ID specifically, which it actually seems odd that that's not really an issue for games. Okay, that might have actually just been the issue, is that I needed to put the ID there. It's odd to me that the game is not experiencing this same issue, because I'm... Oh no, I'm not getting the ID there. Okay, that's all it was, is that if I request the ID here, and I'm putting it into the cache with the ID, it expects the ID always, which makes sense. Okay, so... I think we've nailed down all of the bugs that I actually was having trouble with, so now we should be able to go ahead and do this, which is the whole point of this thing. Which we're solving this, so we need to do a check-in form. What we're trying to console log here... Oh, I need to include these. And all missing imports. So what I need to do is, we're just getting the console log for the query data. And or seeing if it doesn't exist. Which, in this case, I think it's not going to exist, right? So... Reading from cache, no author query yet. And it should say, yeah, profile data, query data. So now, that's fine. So that's sort of what we expect. So if we go to the profile, objects are not... Okay, this is, again, the same error because I need to be using the ID everywhere. So now in profile wrapper, I need to be getting the ID of the author here. The cache just needs to, and that makes sense, right? Because the cache needs to be consistent there. Because it's caching changes, it should be automatically caching changes to users. So if I update the user, it'll update everywhere, which is really cool, actually. I just wasn't using it the correct time, so. All right, so now in this case, so if we go to the profile, we've loaded, this gets all the data here. And then we can go ahead and, oh, my transparency has bonked itself. We can go ahead and make a thing here, and we should get the query data. Yeah, profile data, query data. So now I think this is post by user. So now I think this is all gonna work. I think there were just some small issues that I wasn't working out here. So what we're doing here is that because there's a because there's an author query, we're going to go ahead and write to that. So I also need to put variables here, right? So variables user ID, because it needs to know where to put that. Create post author ID. I need to put a comma there. Great. So yeah, so let's go ahead and restart the server just so there's less posts, so this is easier to... God damn it, I closed the wrong fucking thing again. So this is easier to do. Now the Metro Bundler is gonna resize my fucking terminal window again. Hell yeah. Okay, so... what I meant to do is go ahead and restart this so that we don't have any posts, which is why this is failing. That's fine. Go and reload. Awesome. So we're gonna go ahead and add a check-in. Great. And if we go ahead and look here, there's no author query yet, so that's fine. So if we go over to the profile page, this is great. That post loads. Now there's a query for that in the cache. So now we add a new one, new test. We'll just say news. That makes sense. Check in. That should go ahead and update into the new author query. Yep, and it works perfectly. The other one is we'll make as a different user. So hi, and then we'll go ahead and tag myself here. Make that. It's from someone else. Our lovely Nicolas Cage placeholder images. So now if we go here, that did not update here. Okay. Oh, yeah. That's right. That's the second part of this that we haven't done yet. So this is checking to see if the author has cache writing at all. So we can actually extract this part out into a function, I think. So I think we can just make this into its own function. If I can type correctly, and we'll just go and paste it in here and see. So we need the cache object, which is any, I actually don't know what type that is. And then we need the post, which is a post. Oh, that's what I want. Add post to existing import declaration from types. Should be post. Should be post. And then this should be existing data, I guess. We can type that as any for right now. What's going on, Dota 2 Attitude? I was looking for code. The code is here. Okay, so then this should be... How's it going, Dota 2 Attitude? Are you talking about like the actual source code of this? Because I believe it's on my GitHub profile. I don't remember if I made the repo private or not. Oh, okay, okay. Alright, so this should work generically. So right poster profile cache, that's what we want. So we need to go update that here. Right poster profile cache. Cache is cache. The post is create post.post, and existing data is author profile feed data. Alright, so now if create post.tagged users.length is greater than 0. So if we have tagged users on it, we're also going to need to update those users' profile caches if they exist. So I'm going to go ahead and try to do that. We'll need to do a for each there, so create post.tagged users. Ah! And Dota 2 Attitude, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Actual Desk is uploading Docker images to AWS. Oh, interesting. What for? Tagged users. For each user. Okay. And now we can put this in here. Catch error. So we're gonna try the same stuff, except for with slightly different variable names. We'll just call it user feed data. More user feed. Great. So this is get profile data, and then the user ID should be user.id here instead. Is this the only because it's any? Should we have type user? Oh god. Oh, let's get my set on the internet again. Gotcha. Gotcha. Nice. Well, hopefully that's going well for you. This should be your feed data. Okay, so I think this works. In theory, of course it does. So we've got this post here, and if we go head on over here, then that's fine. So if we go make one from a different user, make some testing stuff, and then again, we're gonna tag myself here. That post finished there, and it should have updated here. It totally didn't. It says no cache for that profile. The user.id, right? Get profile data. So let's go ahead and output that, because I don't know what's going on there. Yeah. It's erroring on the read query. That should be correct. Yeah, so let's go ahead and reload it to make sure cache is back up to date and life is good again. Yep. Yeah, we've got the 4 there, 4 here. So we need to diff user. Ask orphan, that's fine, whatever. User ID is undefined. Oh, am I getting the ID for the tagged users? I probably am not, actually. I'm not. That's fine. Yeah. Okay. So now I need to update this everywhere. Yep, that's 100% the issue. Okay. Tagged users, and it also needs to be ID here. Okay, so that should be all 3 places we're doing the... doing that. Okay, so that was the reason it wasn't working, I'm pretty sure. So now if we make a different user, say new test so I can recognize it. Oh, my mouse is lagging again. Please stop. I don't know why it does this, but it's really annoying. New test, and then this should show up here. Oh no, why didn't... User ID 1, it seemingly worked. Oh, it's because it's always using... That's why. It's always using the author's user ID. Yep, okay. Then that should update here. Oh my god, dude, why is my mouse lagging so bad? Please stop. So this should be, in this case, it should be create post dot, this is for the, no, this is a tagged user. So tagged user has user.id. Great. There should be a comma there. And then also up here, here it should be, this one's the longer one, so create post dot author.id. Done. Yep, so now it's using its own user ID for everything. So now, once again, hard reload. Nice, awesome. So, I am basically just adding, I'm updating the cache after creating objects. The problem is that I have 2 different queries that both have separate caches because they're different queries. So I'm just making sure that whenever we make a new post, I'm updating it in all the correct places. I wrote a little helper function here, which is why like I'm passing cache around as a variable. But yeah, it's like pretty straightforward. Just I'm running a mutation on my GraphQL query, and then I have to. Oh my god, mouse, can we stop, please? And then I'm just. Oh my god. Why use cache? So I'm using Apollo's server, and they have a built-in cache, so that's what I'm using. Part of the reason I'm using it is because it basically does managed cache. It basically does state management with the cache, and it's like pretty good. And yeah. Now if it sucks later, obviously, then I'll like replace it. But oh my god, I wish my mouse would stop dying. I really don't have to right now. So I'm not sure if you've used like Apollo server before, but like it's less so that it's faster. It's just that Apollo server already does it for me. So like instead of me having to write an entire system where like whenever I make GraphQL queries to my server, I would have to like cache the results and like store them locally. The beauty of using Apollo server is that it's like an all-in-one bundled solution. So like whenever I make GraphQL queries, it automatically caches, for the most part, on stuff. So I can just access data and it'll automatically update, and it does optimistic writes and stuff too, which is great. The only thing is that whenever you add something to a query result, so in this case I'm adding a new post, you have to manually update the cache yourself. So yeah, but it's mostly just the fact that I don't have to do it myself. So because I don't want to implement this all over again. I could, but I don't really need to. Yeah, I definitely need to extract the caching functions. This file is large and very unwieldy right now. I definitely agree with that. Yeah, I just need to get this update function out of here. Especially since it's going to have more and more logic too, so I definitely need to split it up. Ashik Paul, thanks so much for the follow. How's it going? Yeah, a lot of my code is like really shitty right now, and I'm gonna go in and clean it up later. Trust me, it's actually also aggravating me. I just like am putting up with it. Yeah. Everything's in like I have like mind mapped everything right now. And, like, most of it's not in a good place. And I should move it. I just haven't. Yeah, sorry. Bad code isn't necessarily what I meant. It's just not well... it's not well split. Yeah, I would absolutely agree. And, like, also, like, my server right now, my GraphQL server, is just one large file. And it also needs to be split into a bunch of stuff. And it, like, doesn't have types. And is, like, really bad. In terms of readability and stuff. So yeah, I am aware of the problem. I'm just ignoring it for now. Okay, so yeah, I think this is everything. So diff user. My error messages, or my test messages are really dumb, and I apologize for that. Okay. Nice. Okay, those both work. Great. Okay, so I did two separate things here. So this is... So these two things I don't think are... I'm going to want to ignore the source maps here. So this will be add debugging to server. Oh, and then I actually didn't end up needing this because I misread the docs. Fix my duplicate ID bug. And then the rest of this is all this commit will correctly update all caches for new posts. At least I think so. I haven't 100% tested it because of other profiles, but yeah. So yeah, this all is basically done now. So and again, to recap, what we've done is that whenever we're checking to see if we've already created a query for a user's profile, and we're creating a new post that's associated with that user, so either they're the author or they're tagged on the post, then we'll go ahead and automatically update their profile's query. Now, of course, if they don't have a query yet, then that's fine. We actually don't need to write anything because then that data is going to get fetched whenever we go to their profile. So that's what's happening there. That's basically all good. Right now, the only profile we have is our currently logged in profile. And again, I know this doesn't look good. Design stuff will come probably off stream and a little bit later. It's just functional is what I care about. And it functionally is basically done. I guess like a follow button is the only thing I need here, but this is your own profile, so like that doesn't really matter as much, right? Although now that I think about it, I'm trying to think about like on like Twitter, right? Is the best example I can think of this. Is that what does Twitter show in place of the? Does it even show the follow button? Okay, so it basically shows the edit profile button where the follow button would be, which actually is like a pretty decent pattern, to be honest. Actually, well, sorry, this is a dumb question. Is it possible to build the SDK with Expo? I don't know. I'm not using Expo. I started Ejected because I had used Expo like a few years ago on like one of my college projects, and I was not a huge fan of like. It was just an annoying process for me to eject, and I thought it just created more hassle than it was worth. So I, from the start on this project, just ejected. So I don't know basically anything about Expo, unfortunately. So base user profile. So this still needs design stuff, but is functionally done. Okay, so I need to do edit profile next. This should be fairly easy. It's just a form. Do I have user searching on here at all? Probably go around here somewhere. Yeah, I don't know. That's not going to be very exciting. Yeah, this is just in like the general search page. Yeah, I probably should refactor, shouldn't I? Yeah, that feels like something too I can probably end on as well, because I don't want to get started on a whole new thing. I was probably really only wanted to go till 1, so I want to eat. Cool. So let's go ahead and refactor some stuff. So I should make a new folder for this sort of stuff. It's a new file. I want a new, nope, I want a new folder. Probably just call it cache. Probably fine. In the new file, we want the. I can split it later. I'll just put it in 1 for now, though. What? All files must be modules, and the isolated modules flag is provided. Okay, bud. Okay, so this entire update is just going to be, I'm going to yank all of this out into its own function. So const update post cache after. This is really verbose. After post insert. I don't know these situations in which I'm gonna need this, so I'm just being overly verbose about it. Why did Prettier not run there? Oh, because I'm dumb. Okay, there we go. Great, so the cache is going to need to get passed here. I need to... what type is that? What is this? It's a data proxy type. Can I import that from somewhere? That's odd. Okay, so cache.requery, get post data. Untyped function calls may not accept type arguments. Oh no. Please. Okay, get post data, at least we can add all missing imports here. So this is a problem because now I need, this is correct, but I need to find, okay, so let me find this. Okay, yeah, so I guess it's on the update type. Mutation updater function, which is here. Proxy is data proxy, yeah. Where's data proxy at? Export interface data proxy. Apollo cache, lib types, data proxy.d.ts. And then where is references? Why is that dialogue like not working? Am I crazy there? All cache data proxy implements data proxy. From Apollo cache lib types data proxy. Import, it just is a normal export, not a default. Data proxy. From what did I just say? Apollo cache in memory. I just... Well... Did that work? What a funky import. Okay. Yeah, that seemingly worked. So am I using anything on create post besides the actual post data itself? No, I'm not. So cache. The new post is going to be of type post. Auto import from types. And anywhere where it says create post, post, We're going to replace that with new post. So can I find name right to profile? Right post to profile cache. Oh, okay, so I should also extract that function out from there. And I don't have to export this one. It should just be chill to be in there. Okay. I think this works. So now in check-in down here, wait, how was it formatted before? Am I just... Update, so then I should just call... Alright, cool. I think that's it. Am I using game data return? Is that just Command Shift O, right? Or Option Shift O. How do I clean up my shit? Okay, there we go. Okay, so I think all that's good. Let's close out of some of this, please. Okay, I typed this data proxy. Great, so now that entire thing is all in here. We can get rid of these console logs. I actually don't need to really console log this. It's just that I have to try catch it because they error it. I should rename these. So that's fine. The catches just have to be there, but we don't want to do anything on the catch. We just don't want to update, or don't want to try and mess with the cache if it doesn't exist, because then it'll yell at us. It'll yell at us majorly. Okay, so now let's test if this works. We're gonna reload entirely. So let's go ahead and check in with a lot of random text there, baby. All right, so that showed up there correctly. Looks good. Should also show up in my profile correctly. It's also there because we didn't, we hadn't queried there yet. So let's do a new one. New post there. New post here. Great. Let's check with a different user. We're having really descriptive names here. So that's a new one that I'm tagged on. Oh, I need to make that go to the profile. I can do that real quick too. And then that should appear. Great. So let's go ahead and commit that. Refactor cache write into separate file. Okay. Okay, now let's go ahead and get some of the navigation things working, because I think we can do that. Well, this is where we have, actually, I think I need to redo this. So we have profile wrapper here. We have the The user ID is coming from props, but it actually shouldn't be coming from props. It should be props extends base. Now, where is base props getting defined again? I forgot how I set this up. Stack navigation params list. Yeah, this needs to have an updated name, I think, but profile wrapper, I think is what we're gonna call this. Profile wrapper should have, or what's it called in the profile screen? Calling it profile, so this should have user ID is equal to a string, and then so then it should be route. It should be route.params, right? Yeah, route.params.user ID. Oh, the reason this is okay. I was like, why is this yelling at me? And it's because I have to define the key because it's not the same name anymore. So root.params. Oh. Root.params.user ID. Okay. So now we just need to have a default route parameter, and I forget how to do that. So instead of, actually, we don't have to do this anymore. So this is just going to be component profile wrapper, and then is there options, I believe? Oh, initial params for the route. Exactly what I want. And then initial params is user. Oh, I have to put a second thing. Okay, and I've already marked that with the to-do when I have auth stuff. So let me make sure that worked. Task orphan for requests. I think that error is fine. Cool. So that presumably worked. Okay, so now we want to be able to, whenever you click on people's names, over here as well, it should redirect you to the correct profile page. So let's do it on the checked in users first. So we should be able to do that. If you click on them, it should navigate. So that's on the post. This is author. Touchable opacity. That's for comments, likes, and then we need to have... This is the game icon. Where did I put this shit? Oh, generate text users. I was like, what? Okay, photo elements, touchable opacity, on press null. On press, we want to actually go ahead and navigate dot. So we need the navigation object here. Right, whatever it is. Oh, is this not getting passed to this right now for props? Is it feed? I don't remember. I don't actually know if this is correct, but we're gonna roll with it for right now. And what type is that? It's stack navigation props. And it should just be I was wondering where that console log was coming from, and I was too lazy to try and figure out where it was, and there it is. So, navigation.navigate to profile with the params. User ID is users at I.id, I'm pretty sure. So now the only thing that might not work here is that you might not have... Okay, so this isn't getting passed, that's fine. So now whenever we're generating posts, which should be in feed, navigation should be navigation. Why is this still erroring? Okay, there we go. All right, so we're passing all the things to it. Pop. It's like an awfully long time to navigate. Okay, that presumably works, so let's make a new one. Go ahead and do that, make a new post, click on them. It just sends us to the profile with not the correct route. So it's any, so I want to double check that the params are correct there. Wait a second. I'm doing this on feed, right? I can just see how I'm doing this. Navigation, navigate, check in, and yeah, I'm just doing I'm just passing the params that way. So I need to make sure that the users.i.profile or .id, not .i. Let's see if this works. Oh, actually, that doesn't help me at all, really. It navigates to the profile. It takes the user ID. Now, how do initial params work? How do I overwrite those? Because I think that's what's happening, is that the initial params are just what's getting displayed. That's what I assume, at least, right? Because we're passing... Let me make sure this isn't something silly. So if we look at the profile wrapper... Yeah, we're doing the user ID based on root.params.user ID. So the question is actually, is it navigating, where is it navigating to? So is this the navigator for the stack navigator? Or is it for, yeah, why is it switching tabs actually? That's actually, yeah, that seems wrong. Yeah, it shouldn't be switching tabs. I think we're using the wrong navigator. I wonder if it tries to figure it out based on... So this is what, feed screen? So feed screen should also have... not game search, but profile, and this should be profile wrapper, and the options are none. Don't put it. All right, so now if I have profile in the stack navigator, beautiful. Okay, that's what I wanted. So what it's doing is that, so how the navigation is laid out here, and this is actually really smart by the Rack navigation library. So I'm actually like pretty happy that it does this. So what it does is we have our primary navigator is this tab navigator, so you can cycle between all these tabs, okay? But each of these tab navigators is just a stack navigator by itself. And so what that means is that whenever we say, hey, whenever you click on one of these, we want to navigate to the screen, or to the profile screen, what it's going to do first is it's going to look for screens named profile inside of its current stack navigator, which is like this feed navigator. If it can't find that, which is, it couldn't find that, that's what it was doing, then it's going to look for something on the tab navigator and navigate to that instead. So what it was doing is it was navigating to the profile tab navigator, which is like in our app, okay? And so the profile tab screen, or profile tab screen, right, is going to go here, but I'm not doing any param checking here. So it's sort of a long way of saying that, like, now if we like go here, so now the things that are gonna be a little weird, right, is that like it hasn't moved to my profile. I don't know if that's actually a big issue because like it's in its own thing, but anyways. So then it's in its own stack navigator here, and then that's fine. But now I can go to other people's profiles and it'll show up for them. And presumably this is correct because it's showing only things they're involved in. Great. So that's really exciting. So now you can do that. So now we just need to change that to be the case for this as well. So that's also going to be in post. So now we can get rid of this console log. I really should type the navigation object there, but I won't. So in the author profile picture URL, we should have a touchable. So we can just change the touchable opacity, or we can copy the touchable opacity styles from above. So we can actually just yank this, because it's doing the exact same thing. And it's just author.profilepicture.url that we're getting rid of. What was the key here before? Oh, I actually don't need a key. Okay, so the styling is slightly fucked here. So image source. Oh, margin right 10 is what I'm missing. Okay, that's back to normal, and then navigate to the user ID of the profile, or the profile of that user ID. Yep, so now all these profile buttons are touchable. That probably should also get the same treatment, right? The actual names. See if we can just make this into a touchable opacity and have the text in it. I think the answer is no, but on press, and then we're gonna want to go ahead and navigate to profile of this user ID is going to be equal to author.id. It like takes a little bit though. It's kind of slow. Is it because I'm doing all the console logging? Probably not, but. Am I not consoling that anymore? Oh, I'm not. I got rid of that. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why it's kind of slow. There's like a noticeable delay. I don't know why that is. I'm gonna make a note of that so I can look into it. I also added the ability, or I also added the links from tapping on users' icon/name on post to the profile. There's a noticeable delay, even after the query gets called. Or even after the query gets run, so I'm not sure what's causing that. Okay, so that is all refactored. We added. So let's go ahead and do that. Added. This commit will add links. Add functional links to profiles. Cool. So yeah, now you can get to people's profiles, which is super sick. I'm gonna push that up. And yeah, I feel like that was a good bit of progress today. Again, this looks kind of like shit, but that's fine. It's functional, and I'm in some ways more worried about making everything functional and then sort of getting the design stuff down sort of at the end, just because there's a lot of, we still have quite a big list of things to do before we have like a usable app that people would actually like, and obviously it looking pretty is important and part of that, but something to focus on perhaps a little bit later. So this is basically done. I'm gonna throw it over here because it's waiting on design stuff. But after that, I mean, we're basically good to try and get the edit profile going. So editing the bio and your avatar and profile pic will be next. This should be interesting because I haven't really done a lot of forms in React Native. Like, I guess I did the check-in form, right? So like, I did this, but we're gonna have to do. Oh god, that's a good voice crack. We're gonna have to do photo uploading, which I haven't messed with yet. So it'll be interesting, regardless. And then yeah, so it's coming along though. I mean, the list is slowly but surely getting whittled down. It's feeling better and better. So I feel pretty good about that. Yeah, and it's like right at 1 o'clock, which is perfect. So thanks everyone for hanging out today. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions that you want to ask after the stream, we have a Discord you can join, !Discord. I'll get you the link to that. I can't post in my chat easily right now, but I can do it from my phone, I guess. But anyways, !Discord to get you that. If you did enjoy the stream, please consider dropping a follow. You'll get notifications whenever I go live. If I can hold my schedule, which in theory we should be able to, I'll be live every Sunday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, just to sort of wake up and get started and working on things. Probably about till 1-ish or so is the plan for that. And I also have a Twitter, !Twitter. There's also a link below in the like little, I don't know, the new profile page thing. There's like a link to my Twitter there as well. Yeah, and there's also a link to the Discord there too. So in any case, I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. And yeah, well, hopefully I'll see you next week or perhaps a little sooner. Oh, and this stream will also be on YouTube. Hopefully I'm going to try to do that today just so I can get it done with. And then yeah, so that'll be on there to watch if you want to. Yeah, and yeah, hope everyone has a great rest of their day. And I'll see you later.